Let's let it go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning, top of the morning. It's a great day. It's a great day, and I'm just happy to be embracing it today. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. My co-host is the wonderful, the fabulous. You guys know how I do it every week. I'm looking in the thesaurus, trying to find another adjective in which to describe him by, but he's just wonderful. So good morning, Keith. How are you today?
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Keith, we have a great show today, and I've already gotten so many emails. But you know, they're all from men. So, Keith, you got to help me out with this one. Let me just give our topic. Today, we're talking about Black women need an attitude adjustment. Yes, that's exactly what I said. Black women need an attitude adjustment. If the Black race is to survive in a healthy state of being, Black women must adjust their attitudes about men, sex, and money. Somebody better listen up in here. You know, young Black men, they learn how to treat Black women because it's a reflection of what they see and have heard from the mouths of older Black women and their mothers. Believe it or not, we're the one who rear these young men. And if they're not all what we want them to be, I think women have to ask themselves a question, particularly when we're saying that 60% of the homes are headed by females. So that means more females have total control of the children under their influence, or they are the role model of these young men. So that says something about women. And I don't want women calling up here talking about whether man was there, he's not doing what he's supposed to. But I'm talking about what you can do. I'm talking about how young men learn certain behaviors because they are around their mother. And I just think we can all agree that we can do a better job. So don't get mad. Just, you know, let's make a change because these are our children.
Exactly.
These are our young boys who turn away from young Black women. And young Black women want a mate. They want a husband. They want somebody special in their life. They want children. And that's why so many of them are having children without a father, because you can't make anybody marry you. But, you know, it's easy to get them to lay down with you. You know, I mean, that's no problem.
Right.
Getting someone to have sex with, that's an easy thing. But getting someone to make a commitment, be there with you and with your baby, even if you already have children. So we're going to be frank this morning. We're going to talk about it, and I just think it's time to address the topic without getting angry, but looking at the fact, yes, Black women need an attitude adjustment. Don't call up here talking about men need an attitude adjustment too. I'll get to the men when I'm ready to do the show on men. But right today, we're talking about the black woman, because I think family is very important. It's the foundation to any race trying to build a healthy race or culture group.
Yes.
So black women going to have to make some changes. I mean, some serious changes. So we'll talk about that today. But now, why I got all these emails from men? Maybe Keith, you need to tell me what's going on. What are men feeling out there?
Well, two things. Basically, the men have been denigrated. Black men have been denigrated. They've been blamed for everything for 40 years. You know, if you know, you can't open a magazine or look at a TV show without black men being blamed. If black women aren't getting married, it's the men's fault. If black women are single, it's the men's fault. If there's out of wedlock births, well, then, you know, black men are irresponsible sexually. You know, if the family's not being supported, then it's black men's fault. It's black men's fault that they go to jail. It's black men's fault that they're out of work. You know, on and on and on and on. So they're frustrated. And then the second thing is that black men are tired of women not taking responsibility for their half of the problem.
Okay.
So that's probably why you're getting it.
Okay. You know, I think I've been saying lately, I think we need to look at increase our gratitude and decrease our attitude. Because a lot of people are just not grateful. They're just not thankful for what they have. A lot of people here in America have far too much, you know.
Yes.
And they about to jump over the bridge if they just short of a little stuff, for little things. It's not enough gratitude. We need to be more grateful for what we have, because most people are doing much better off than they think they are. But women, I don't know where. Yes, I do. They're getting all these attitudes. They're getting all this thing mixed up about what men ought to do. And I just want to say, I don't see how any black woman in today's society, Keith, can really sit down and think that the average black man can pay her car note, should be paying her for sex, should be paying her rent. I don't know where they're coming from, where they're getting that. Take your head out of the sand. Don't you see all the unemployment among the black race? And can you see when they are working, they're making less money? And can you see that the average man already have a child, been divorced, has child support, trying to survive with two families? So what's wrong with these women?
You know, I heard it on a radio program one time. And the host, you know, black host suggests that, you know, because it was like a mixed group, and had a white psychologist, and the black host addressed that question to the two black women, and they pointed to the white man and said, he has it. How come we can't have it?
Who said that? The black woman? The
black women. So in other words, if the white man can produce it for his woman, how come the black man can produce it do the same for the black woman?
I should have been on that show, so I could have given them a little history lesson. You see, how can you expect a man who's working for the man to have as much as he has? Historically, it's been the case that black men have not been as economically empowered. We see a few black men out here, actors, those who playing ball. Some have a few jobs, few executives. The rest of them are just in the middle of the road, you know? So but this has been a problem. That's why I always say, Keith, we are not Caucasian clone. Black women for too long have looked at what they saw on TV, looked at what the white woman had, and they think that they should have the same thing. You hear them say, well, he's supposed to bring in the bacon. Well, that's coming from European to do. Yeah, he brought in the bacon because he had your black man in the field working, he had you in the kitchen cooking. We need to do some historical studying to see how we have evolved in America and adaptation of coming from a slave and now trying to act as if we're equal financial. We need to determine what's a value, what we need. Trying to keep up with the Joneses
Mm-hmm.
is not a good thing to do. But that's sad when a woman think, well, if he can do it for his wife, he owns a damn company.
Right.
Your husband's working for him, or he's unemployed.
Right.
Or hidden and missing in some small business trying to make it in tough times like this. Women better learn how to take care of themselves. And I believe right now, mothers who are listening, you need to teach your daughters about Dutch dating, that they are responsible for themselves. How can you expect a 16-year-old to take you out and spend money on you? Where's he getting the money from? That's why a lot of these young men are doing stuff that's not right, illegal stuff, just to buy a car, to keep up with it, to be able to buy a girlfriend. You should not have to buy a girlfriend, and she should not have to buy you. You're just as important as she is. So what make a woman think that a man owes her anything other than love and respect and mutual in what they're doing? Come on, give me a break. We got to get away from that. Those who want to address the issue, Black women need an attitude adjustment. That's right. That's exactly what I said. You can call 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733, or you can email us here at Innerlight Radio, Innerlight Radio at yahoo.com, and express yourself. Express yourself. We got to do something. We got to do it fast, Keith. We don't have a long time, because I'm looking at all these women every place you go. They're by themselves. I'm looking at men traveling by themselves or with other men, and I'm not talking about men that's gay. I'm just talking about men who are spending time with each other, going to the movie, going to plays. They're sick of these women. They're absolutely sick of you.
Yeah. There's I hate to say it, but there's a low level disdain for Black men by Black women. It's a low level disrespect that Black women haven't dealt with. They feel it, and they mask it, but they haven't been honest with it. And every now and then you can see when they start, it'll come out when they get angry. When they get angry and they start talking about what the Black men aren't doing, then it'll come out. But the other times it's a low level, I wouldn't say disrespect, I would say disdain, because they're unhappy with Black men, but they won't admit, they won't bring themselves to admit it.
In other words, you're saying they have resentment.
Resentment. I think resentment is too far too.
That the Black man can't do for them what they think the white man is doing for his woman. Is that
exactly? Yeah. Well, the Black man is a failure as a group. So every Black man is a target, because
but you're supposed to bring in the bacon, right? You're supposed to pay my car note. I'm supposed to come to you when I'm short on my budget and can't make ends meet. You my man, so I'm supposed to come to you.
If the Black man was better, he would lead us out of our situation that we're in. That's and since he can't, then he's not worthy. And I've heard over and over and over again from Black women, and I've heard more Black women than even from racist white men. And they said Black American men are the lowest level of men all over the world, and that's what they truly believe.
And it's based on what? Based on
feeling. Money is feeling. It's just feeling.
Right.
Yeah, wow. That's the way they feel, and but the thing is that they can't bring themselves to admit it, because if they admitted it, they'd have to admit that that's the way they feel about their sons.
Right, exactly, and their sons know how they feel. And
sons know how they feel, because it even though they won't admit it, it shows up in their actions and how they raise their sons, which perpetuates this situation. Yeah,
it's getting bad. We have a call on 270. Go ahead, give us your name. Tell us where you're calling from.
This is Bob O'Neill for Tim, calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thanks for calling.
Yes, Dr. Rosie. I'd like to commend yourself and Mr. Keith Swanson on the job that you all are doing. It's just absolutely wonderful, spectacular. And the subject that you're talking about today is a needed topic that needs to be talked about. And Mr. Swanson, you're doing a great job expounding on the subject matter. And I just wanted to say, keep up the good work, and I'm listening in.
We appreciate.
What's your opinion on it? Maybe what do you see? Because Atlanta, I know Atlanta. It's because it's such a large concentration of black people. What is it that you see amongst with the male female dynamic? Are you seeing the same thing, or is it something different?
Well, I'm seeing the same thing. And let me say, it may be even worse.
Really? Okay.
We're in dire straits mentally, psychologically. We need serious therapy as a people overall. We need good counseling because we're suffering from the ages of old. Looking back in our history, we've come under so much tyranny and mental pain, and we have yet to this day to fully get over it or get help for our illnesses, mental illnesses.
Yes.
And as far as Atlanta goes, we're in terrible shape. And like you said on a previous show, I can't recall what show it was. I believe it was the forum that we are Black Americans, but mentally we assume another identity.
Yes.
Right, trying to be Caucasian clone. Well, let me just read to you all. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna continue to listen, and just wanted to commend you all on a great show over the years. Keep up the great work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Keith, I got an email that said, "Don't send me this trash. I am a black woman. This is not my reality. This is very insulting. In fact, remove me from your email list." Okay, I will do just that. I won't call your name, but I'm sorry that you're feeling insulted and attacked. If this is not your reality, I'm sure you know women that this is their reality. And unless we understand that and try to save all black women, pull them from this attitude and way of thinking, our race will sink deeper and deeper because we won't have the cohesiveness among black women and black men.
Yeah.
That's her reality. And
yeah,
I understand that. I'm not saying this is every woman's reality, but it is sure. Listen to the men. That's why we're in the shape we're in now, because we think we know it all as women, and we don't want to listen to what the men, their perception of us is what counts. How they perceive us makes a difference. Determine whether they will date you, whether they will marry you. It's their perception, not your perception, that counts when it comes to how men see black women.
Yeah.
So I hope you rethink that, and I hope after rethinking, you might just want to stay on my email list.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's with men coming out and basically doing the same analysis on black women that black women have done on black men. It's generated almost like gender wars, open hostility, and that's typical of what I've seen.
And black women don't want to listen to anything that black men has to say.
No,
whether you agree or not, at least listen.
Yeah, well, that because it's because of the pathology that's gone on, after slavery, because of the position, that the black men were in, and then Dr. Rose, I don't have to tell you that black men have always been under assault. They weren't as afraid of the black women as they were of the black men, so they had to suppress the black men. So that has generated the idea that black men are beneath black women. And go ahead, Dr. Rose. I'm sorry.
And you're looking at the fact, Keith, when men are validated by the acquisition of land, power, and money.
Mm-hmm.
Men are validated by these things. And when black men find themselves outside of the scope being able to obtain any of these things, then he feels less than a man. And then he has this woman riding on the back of that, pushing him down the ladder more,
Right.
testifying and being a witness to the fact that, no, you ain't nothing.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
own anything. You don't have any power. You don't have any money. But you want a man to act like something that he doesn't feel like. If a man doesn't feel like a man, it's hard for him to step up to the plate and act in the role that you determine is what a man should be. I hear young girls saying to young boys, well, you should be able to buy me this. You should be able to buy me that. Where are they getting this from? I'm talking about teenagers. That's why they're going with older men and all this stuff, because some women have told them, you know, if he can't do this for you, then you don't need him. Yes, I'm talking to you, black women. Your conversation needs to change, and it needs to change now.
He's only worth what he can give me. You know, in other words, you know, I don't know if I should say this, you know, because
Go on and say it. Today is today.
Okay. Black women look at black men the same way that the slave master looked at the black man back in slavery days. What was he worth? He's worth two things. He was worth something for his labor and his sex. And black women still, if you think about it, what do black women really want black men for? Either to have sex with him or for what she can derive from his labor. What all that stuff in between, like being a father, being a mate, you know, being a friend, all that stuff. I mean, I'm sure it exists. What I'm saying is this is the general feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't want people to think that we're talking about all women. Whenever you try to teach and educate black women and black men, they start talking about what they don't do. We're not trying to say that this is every woman and every man. All we're saying, you all, is that we have a problem. There's an issue, and we need to deal with it if we are to sustain ourselves as a healthy race of people.
Right. Yeah.
That's all we're saying.
And you know, when it gets into the media and into the music, it starts to bleed over. You know, so you might not feel that way 100%. But the thing is, when you start getting in groups with your girlfriends, or you go to school, it starts to bleed over. So the thing is, it can't help but affect you, and it can't help but affect the way you raise you. I was just talking to my daughter about my grandson, and I was telling her the way that the way that Asians are raised. You know, so how come Asian males are so successful? I said, and every Asian male I talk to, they tell me it's not because of the male. They said the mother is the one that enforces that rigid standard of conduct and makes that male, that the children successful, because she enforces. She's in the home, so she enforces whatever mission they have for their child. And you don't, you know, and I think you see it as far as black women towards their daughters, but I'm not sure that you see it as far as black women towards their sons.
Wow. You can call us at 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. I've gotten so many emails. I guess some of the men and women are afraid to call. Maybe they think someone may recognize their voice. We have something on the board.
Okay.
Keith, can you read it?
Okay, this is coming from Tony through Facebook. A major issue that has to be examined is, why does the white man give some black women a job and not black men, not a black man? And how long do black women think that this is going to last in white racist society? And now facing Donald Trump as president of the United States.
Well, you know, that issue has been raised so many years about why do white men give the black woman a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see, this is one of the tactics that really set the black woman and the black man against each other. Just like saying, my mama is better to Sue than she was to me. This kind of stuff has been handed down. The black man and the black woman both came to America, as I talk about in my book, Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman, Sexually Made Simple, dealing with issues of black folks. I said the black woman did not come to America on TWA or Pan Am, American Airlines. She came on the same slave ship, and she had been tortured the same way the black man. She was branded. She was raped, 13 years old, all this kind of stuff. So don't think that the white man's in love with the black woman and hates the black man. You go back tradition, you start looking at a lot of jobs. When we came over here, both was in the cotton fields and in the pea patch, the black man and the black woman. So years ago, you didn't think of a man being a cook or being a chef. So naturally, the black woman was in the house. There were certain jobs for many years that was really identified as being female jobs, such as typists, a whole lot of jobs that men wasn't thought to do. So now that happened with a lot of women being in place in job and black men was not there. So let's lay that aside, because number one, we need to be trying to create our own jobs and stop begging a white man for a job. That's for the black woman and for the black man. Because these are tactics, Keith, that can make us not like each other, can make us envy. See, if you think the black woman is getting all the job, it's like some people now doing affirmative action was saying, well, the black folk getting all the jobs. So they resented us. They hated us. The psychology of resentment and jealousy doesn't change because it's between black folks. So that's what I want you all to see. That's a tactic to really make us resent one person because you're being treated better. Okay?
Yeah.
So, Tony, if you have any more question about that, I hope I brought about some understanding, because, see, we study our history and look at how we got here and how we had to adapt, going through the process of adaptation in this hostile society. We don't want to go back and visit that, Keith, but if we do, we have a little more compassion and a little more understanding about our own behavior toward each other, and then we'll work on trying to fix it.
Yeah, but as far as the jobs are concerned, even though if you look at statistics where black women do have more corporate jobs or white collar jobs, and they do have more education, but the thing is, it's always been the case that black men as a group out earn black women by at least 10 or 15%. So the fact that black women have jobs doesn't really mean much in the aggregate because black men still earn more. So that's really not a factor. What the white man gives him gives her isn't really a factor, because those are basically medium to low paying jobs. So she's not doing that much better, whereas most black men are in trades that are earning considerably more than black women on a whole. Right. So the fact is, so really there really isn't that big of a debate about a job. That's just the affirmative action jobs that they gave, and that has really more to do with white feminists, which the white female got more the bulk of the jobs that were supposed to go to black men, period, because those jobs were actually designed for black men to have so that they could fix the family. But the white female actually jumped the boat and took the jobs that were actually designed for black men. So the thing is, the black women didn't, they might have got a little bit more than we did, but the thing is, it's the white women that got the bulk of those jobs that were supposed to go to black men.
And if they got more and we got the right mindset, you put that together. Put your nickel, put her 10 cents in your nickel together, and you all can get someplace instead of worrying about who made the most and who the white man has been better to. I still say we need to really look at black women need an attitude adjustment.
Right.
And when it comes to men, by expecting your expectation, now your expectation is not too high when you're expecting him to be respectful to you, not to hit you, not to call you out of your name. That's not asking too much. Okay, your expectation is not too high. But when your expectation hit the rim of pay my rent, make up all my shortage financially, pay my car note, then your expectation is a little too high. You need to be able to pay your own car note, pay your own rent. I'm not saying that men and women can't help each other out. I've seen cases where men fell on hard luck and women,
Yeah.
Picked up their car note to help them out. That's where it should be. It's not a one-way street that you do all the receiving. I mean, what make you so special? What do you have that's so special that I knew a man once got into a situation where he was helping his girlfriend pay her rent and lost his car in the process. Car note got too far behind because he was trying to bail her out. In fact, I know 2 men that happened to, all were trying to help a woman and neglecting themselves. So I'm saying this should not be. Because look what the next woman is going to have to jump through hoop. Because how do you think this man feels now?
Yeah.
Lost his car, had to move back home. She had gotten him to move in with her only because she wanted him to pay the rent.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? If for most men, if you're honest about what you want, and he can evaluate it. A man can accept something if you're honest about it. If you tell him exactly what the deal is and he accepts it, he won't say anything because he'll feel that this is what I accepted.
Yeah, and he wanted to help, but when it get to if you don't do this, then I'm not gonna give you this. I'm not talking to you. We're not gonna have sex. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. Women have just taken it too far,
And and I've back in I won't say back in your day, Dr. Rosie, I've heard so many women that had master's degrees marry a guy who was hardworking but only had an 8th grade education, and they raised successful families.
Sent them to college, bought a home because they put what they had together. Yeah. Because during those days, Keith, women valued substance in men. He's nice. He's nice to his mother. He's respectful. He loved children. If my mother had to come and live with me, it would be okay. We basically have the same religious background. In other words, we have a lot in common. We both like to have fun. We both wanted children. Yeah. That's what women look for. But now they don't even look for those basic things that sustain a marriage or to make you feel good. They want to know what kind of house you have, what kind of car you have, what kind of job. How can you get excited about a black man holding a big job? If he doesn't own the company, he can be fired tomorrow.
Yeah.
And women don't think about that. Then he becomes nothing to you.
Yeah, yeah.
When he's no longer the president of that company, now he can't have any say-so in the house because you bring the money home.
Yeah.
So you change your whole attitude. He's not a man anymore. All of a sudden, he's not a man because your manhood is tied into stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's a lot of women that are alone because, that's what the settle means, because they won't settle for anything that's less than what they think that they're worth.
Right. And it's all material. It's not valuing the value of a person, their self-worth. What do they stand for? Their belief system. Shouldn't that come into play?
It should, and it does. It does in other communities, but it's gotten kind of skewed as far as it's been skewed as far as the black community is concerned.
And black women, I hear them talking every day about these young black men, and I'm saying to myself, I wonder who are raising them.
Well, you don't even want to touch that subject, Dr. Rosie, because that's that's not messing with the church.
Then they say I'm blaming them, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they'll say it's not their fault because if their daddy was around, then that wouldn't happen if their daddy was around to raise them.
Look, a lot of time, trust me, if their daddy is around, most time, she will not allow him to step in and make decision and rear those children. Oh, don't do that to him. It's okay. Let him do that.
Yeah.
You're not a man. Men know how men feel. But a lot of black women would not allow the children's father to really have input. She thinks she knows more about manhood than the man does.
Yeah. Well, that's the lack of respect. That's the lack of respect. That's the lack of value that bleeds over. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's even their fault. This is just like they said, this is
it's
just
an observation.
No, the thing is, this is just a tangle of pathology that you've inherited that's never been fixed.
Right, and it's time to fix it.
It's time to fix it, because the thing is, because we can't keep losing generation after generation because we're not fixing this.
Right.
And the thing is, and what I think what black men are saying is, okay, it's not entirely your fault, but the thing is, without your help and you admitting your part in it, we can't fix it, because you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
And you can't fix it if you won't recognize that there is a problem.
That there's a problem.
So this show is not to blame anybody. This show is about hopefully that black women will go in and examine themselves. I've seen too many families where the man tried to step in and help to rear the boys. Sometimes it was blended families, but the woman wouldn't allow the man to have any say-so. Couldn't do anything. And the kids just got all out of hand. And now they want them to try to get up in the kid's face. You trying to jump up in somebody's face when they are 21 now or even 18. And you've been there ever since that child was a baby, 2 and 3 years old. And you're saying to that man, this is my child. Whatever I say do, that's what he do. You're not his daddy. And now all of a sudden you want him to check that boy. That boy gonna knock him out, and you too.
Dr. Rosie, I was just talking about that with my daughter. My son is 3 years old. And the way they allow him to talk to them because he's cute. And I'm trying to tell him, I'm trying to squash that. I said that is not okay for a 3-year-old to have a discussion with you that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and it's, well, he's only 3. I said, he's 3 now. What are you going to do when he's 13?
Right.
What are you going to do when he's 15 and he's 6'4"?
Keith, you're so right. I see parents come to church and they bring their little children. They bring them cookies. They 2 and 3 years old. They bring vanilla wafers. They allow them to eat in church. And when they get old, they get 6 or 7, you see them take out a piece of candy to eat, and then you want to slap them across the head. You want to take them out and spank them. You don't eat in church. That's what I'm saying. It's sickness about the stuff that we're doing. Now, you're the one who initiated that it was okay for this child to eat in church. You brought him food. You opened your purse, and you took out your little plastic bag, and you gave him food. Yeah. Now, you want to beat him because he's eating food in church.
Dr. Rosie, I've been saying it for a while. I've been looking at African civilizations. We might, black people may have to go back to arranged marriages, because we are not doing a good job on our own by allowing men and women to pick each other, because it is not working, and it is a disaster. Maybe black people genetically are just not designed that way. We might have to have the elders just pick your husband and pick that wife, and we could and make you stay together.
I'm telling you, Keith, we're getting weaker and weaker from an economic standpoint, because we cannot make these relationships work.
Exactly.
I mean, it's hard for one person to manage a household. You're looking at, someone told me the rent in Marina, like for a bachelor, is $2,500. You don't even have a bedroom. And for 2 bedrooms, $3,500 and more. Yeah. I mean, it's going sky high all over. So how do these women think? Because see, this Section 8 and stuff, they cutting this stuff back and out, and even when it isn't out, you're not the one who are doing the screening. So you're out because whoever's in are going to let, their own persuasion first. People tend to do that. And it's not about races. It's not about, whatever people want to call it. It's just something about helping your own first when you can. So when people recognize that that's the behavior of human being, regardless of what their color may be, then you ought to operate accordingly. Set yourself up accordingly, knowing that these things can happen.
Yeah, it's because the black people, because we're trying to operate on a different system than our basic culture, and the things that they did to help white people worked for them, but the thing is, it made our problems worse.
Wow. Go ahead. You all can call 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. So let's go back and take it item by item. Black women need an attitude adjustment when it comes to men.
Mm-hmm.
They need to, number one, they need to realize that men are not financially responsible for them.
Mm-hmm.
They need to understand that. They need to understand that men are not responsible for your sexual gratification. Women even put that all on men. Oh, he didn't give me an orgasm. Give yourself one, and then you'll know what it is. I'm sick of women want men to do everything for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of them are so fragile. They've been beat down. The thing that I don't like about this is because when you beat them down, when you do all this stuff, then you don't just hurt yourself. We need to see ourselves as a nation. Every time we hurt one person, you hurt a nation. Because now here this man, a good man, has been wounded and scarred. So now when that good woman comes by, who can really be a good woman to him, he's standing off. He's not willing to lay his heart out on that table again. He's not willing to do it.
Remember, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago. Remember, a lady called in saying that black men won't approach or even look at black women. When she enters a coffee shop, and black men will look away.
He sure did.
Yeah, remember she said that, and that's the reason. That's the reason.
They don't want the rejection. They talk about how they can
They don't want to be shamed. They don't want to be hurt.
Yeah, and women
and sometimes
over there
this attitude prevails, and you start to approach a black woman, and she gives you that look, and you turn your head. You see that enough? Guess what? You stop.
Stop trying. Stop trying. So what I'm saying is that there ever was a time that black men and black women need to get together, get married, have better relationships. It is now. If you all don't see what's going down in this economy and in this time and in the political setting, if you don't see it now, when will you see it? That's why we have this show. Black women, put yourself in check. Man doesn't owe you anything. Why should he pay you for sex?
I have a question.
Is it supposed to be more for him than for you? So why should he owe? Are you paying him for sex? Do you want it just like he wanted? Why is he paying you? Do you think it's okay for you to pay him? If you're going to use your body as if you're just a commodity. Go ahead. We have a caller.
Yeah, I have a question. I want to share a little personal information with you. And, I like to kid and play, but I don't like to really.
But Harry, let me say something. This is a serious show.
Well, I'm trying to be serious. That's why I'm telling you. I'm prefacing it.
I don't want jokes today. I'm serious.
No
about
jokes.
This.
No jokes. First of all, I notice a lot of women who really don't need to buy a relationship with nobody, but they will get mixed up with these loser men. A lot of them are on programs like Section 8 or whatever. And they will move the men in, risking everything they got, even losing their children, for a man that's, really not supposed to be there. And it's like, I could see it maybe if she was like, well, that's the only way this woman, look like Hilda the Witch is going to get anybody. But these are women that shouldn't have to, buy a keep man. You with me so far?
I'm with you.
Okay. Now, I was going to be a little different. You know me, I like to play the devil's advocate.
Oh,
I
boy.
had seen friends and even my brother and, different people that had nothing. They had to go get their girlfriend on the bus, and when they got married or whatever they got, they had to move in with her parents or his parents. They were going from parent to parent. Sometimes he'd go over with his and she'd go over with hers until the dust settled. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna tighten up all the loose ends. They're not gonna love me for my jokes or my dashing physique. So what I'm gonna do is get the job, I'm even gonna get the car, the house, everything before I get married and have these kids. I want my kids later in life. And I won't have to be put out by your mama or my mama or somebody's mama, or we won't have to be, begging for babysitters or whatever. We'll have all that taken care of.
That's what you were saying for yourself as to what you were going to do before you get married.
Yeah. Okay, you do all that,
Uh-huh.
and you get nothing but the gold diggers.
Well, yeah. Well,
or you get women like I'm dating a professor now, and I'm dating her because I'm what her mother and her children want for her. The guy that's actually her children's father, she never married, he wouldn't even come to his daughter's wedding.
Okay. There's always it's always complex. It's always a complex thing why that would happen. But yeah, they want you because you have status.
Well, I don't really consider it status. I mean, I'm a very low key guy. Dr. Milliken can tell you. I'm over there in the jeans and the t-shirt. Her youngest son called me the man with the overall.
I'm sure you flashing the fact that you own property.
Yeah.
And drop little nuggets down, and then they wonder why the woman want them to take them to the most expensive restaurant.
But they know all that because her mother and my mother were very good friends. They grew up together, and and her mother just comes to my house to visit. I got something over here from we like antique shops. I got something from the antique shop I wanted to bring you. I made some pound cake or something.
So if I can ask the question, Harry, because this can be instructive. Why didn't she marry the father? Why did she have children by a man that she wasn't going to marry?
She was getting older.
And
he was hanging around. He every time we got a friend in show business, so I'm not going to reveal her name, but all the home folks meet over there at her house, and he was always, the perfect doting father and the perfect doting, if anybody wanted to dance, he was up on the dance floor dancing with his baby mama, keep anybody else from dancing with her, cover her.
Yeah, but Harris,
no, I'm asking a specific question. Why would you have children? Not marry the guy, but why would you have children with somebody you don't intend to marry? Why did she do that?
Well, it was either him or nobody because she was approaching 40 or so. I don't know how old she was. They're my age.
But Harry, has she proposed to you?
No, it's not. She's polite to me and we go out together, but her mother wants me to take her abroad, take her to her house.
Wait a minute, you can stop right there. Her mom ain't got nothing to do with this, okay? Stop it right there, because her mother gonna be in charge. This ain't making no sense.
Well, it makes sense because it's status, and that's what her mother wants. Her mother doesn't necessarily want you to marry her, but her mother wants you to provide for her, and that's
well. At our ages, we don't need to really marry nobody. But you see, where we come from, in the class we come from.
Wait a minute, Harry. Where you going with that?
People married certain people in certain families.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's
and it didn't have to be no rich family. His mother's a teacher, his daddy works in the post office, and they got a home in Sugar Hill, that kind of thing.
No, Harry, then they went on value.
They went on value and character.
Nice person, went on character. That's what they want.
And your families and values that family, a good family, would pass down, and that's what.
And believe me, it makes a difference because my brother married a girl from a different. Stratosphere, let's say. She's a nice woman and a good mother and was a good wife, but it makes a difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference. But
Okay.
closing shot, Harry. Closing comment.
Well, I'm just saying that even the women that is not like the typical welfare mom,
Mm-hmm.
you still find a lot of them get mixed up with the. Now this boy played sports when
Harry,
he
we're
was
not gonna
younger.
let you talk
Okay.
about everybody on the universe that you
Oh,
know.
okay. All
Close it
right,
up.
Harry. Okay. What are that? Those are the two things. Those are the two things that black women want. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what I'm noticing. Two things: they want either provision or they want sex. And if you're good, if you're the black buck, or the rich guy, then you're picked. And the guys that are in between, they're kind of left out. But anyway, Harry, thank you for your call.
Harry's always insightful about something, but anyway, I still say black women need an attitude adjustment about men, about who they are. You got to
About
understand, who
yeah.
is this black man? He's not a Caucasian clone. I think when we understand, look at the overall, and I know people keep saying, well, don't go back. You're always talking about slavery. You're always talking about back in the day. We have to look back so we can appreciate and understand, how do we get here?
Mm-hmm.
Once you understand how did we get here,
Right.
now we can begin to work on how do I move forward and not be stuck here with all these idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about, because I can't imagine what our race would look like in another 10 years if we continue down this path.
Yeah.
With black women, black men not being able to adjust and to get along and to feel like it's their duty to try to survive and to rear these children. It's a proven fact that a majority of these children that's in prison, in foster homes, coming from African American families. So that's kind of frightening. When I was at a conference, in fact, Keith, Rita Hall did a conference, and they talked about the statistic of foster children, how they are taken into sex trafficking,
Right.
how they would be homeless, and the incarceration rate. Then I had to think, well, wow, if a majority of those children in the foster system are black children, what are we just saying?
Mm-hmm.
What are we saying?
Yeah.
Look at that picture, you all. This is why I'm talking about how important it is for black women to change their behavior about men, about sex. A man is not just, is he just a thing to you? Is he just an object to buy me something to have sex with? Some women take it so far that I just want a baby. I'm not thinking about him.
Yeah.
After she get pregnant, she dumps him.
Yeah.
He's hurt. Can't even be involved with the child, not knowing that this is sickness that you had before you married him or laid down with him, that you didn't intend to have a lasting relationship. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's unfair to the man and to the child.
Well, not you, and to the whole family, because it's not just I can be a witness. When a woman has a baby out without a partner, it puts a lot of stress on the rest of the family.
It does.
It puts a lot of stress on them. We have two callers. 213, I think you're up first.
Okay. Rosie.
Hi, Dean.
Yeah, this is Dean. Yeah, this is Eldridge Dean. How you doing, Keith?
Hey.
Anyway, I'm sorry to get on the tail end. Somehow your web, your web radio, I can't seem to pick it up, so I have to kind of listen. But anyway, I just want to kind of make a quick comment because, I got married and we celebrated our first year anniversary.
Oh,
and this is my third. This is my third time around, which is a charm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I really think, and with all due respect to my former wives, but my second wife, who I had my children by, we've become decent, good friends now over the years. But I think the problem, I think you hit it, Rosie, in the topic today. Black women have to learn how to treat black men with the type of respect that they deserve, okay? And I think what's wrong with a lot of our black women, many of them are highly educated, they're overachievers, okay, a lot of them. They're so independent, you follow me, and then then I think you brought up a good point in your little synopsis, Rosie, when you talked about how they were raised by the grandmothers, aunts, you know, that old attitude, put him in his place, this kind of attitude. So it's an attitudinal problem. The cultural kind of, I think, a cultural kind of hang-up that black women have viewed black men not as equals, some of them, okay?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
That's another problem, see, and I think when you look at let's say a very accomplished black professional woman who's married to her husband and say he's say he's got a regular job, he might be a maintenance guy, his position is much inferior to hers in terms of her professional accomplishments. And the problem is, I think a lot of times, is that she's a manager, she has a middle, in terms of middle management on the professional corporate side. And when she comes home, she can't make that adjustment. You follow me? She's so used to bossing and leading and directing, say. And I've been getting a kick out of watching Tyrese and Tyrese and brother Ron. Their program comes on, talking about this relationship, And Tyrese made a good comment not too long ago, where he said, "Well, listen, because they interviewed this,
Wait,
this.
Let me let the other caller know. Hold on, we're coming to you, okay?
Okay, sure.
Go ahead, Dean.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, and they interviewed this sister. I think she's in the hip hop business, but she runs the corporate side of it. Okay, and she's been very successful. And they asked her, "Well, now listen, all your accomplishments. When you come home, do you bring that home with you, or do you make that adjustment and try to be sweet and kind and nice to your man?" And she said, "When I come home, I turn it completely off. When I come home, I'm home. I adjust to being the very best wife I can be to my man." I thought that was very wonderful. So I think that's the problem. That's the adjustment period that a lot of our women are not able to make because they just been too independent so long, and they're so used to giving out orders.
Okay, stay with us, Dean. We're gonna take another caller, but you can hang on.
You can stay on. You can hang on. We're just gonna take another call. Go ahead, caller 323.
Hello.
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 You're on 323. Oh, well, not. Wait. Hold on, Carl. We're gonna
hold on. We got another. Let's take 232-637.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Carl.
This is Charles from 1-800-UNITE US. Very important topic.
Okay, weigh in.
Good to hear from you.
Jump on in.
Okay, well, what I want to say is there's a couple of things. First of all, we just have to learn to treat each other treat each other right, treat each other better because that's free. Doesn't cost any money to treat each other better. And the next thing is to spend more money with each other because a lot of the problems in relationships have to do with money.
Exactly.
Right? So if we got more money flowing amongst ourselves, we're going to have less of those kind of problems.
Right.
Right. And then thirdly, don't support the music that refers to us as N's and B's. I just hate the fact that our music has devolved from R&B to N and B.
Yes.
And music affects the way people think and act.
Oh, yes.
So let's just let that go. Now,
and Charles, I ride down the street every day and I see women playing this music and their kids in the car and they bouncing and jumping to it.
Yeah.
And kids internalize all of that. I remember when my grandson, I think he was maybe 2, we were just riding in the car one day and we would listen to The Wave. And when they come with this little commercial, she said 94.7, he said, "The Wave."
Yeah.
They hear it.
Yep.
He said it down. That's the same thing with this other stuff.
Yeah, music's a gateway to the mind. Just think of how fast we learned the alphabet song and how difficult that would have been without the music. So music can deliver good and bad.
And, you know, we got to watch how it affects ourselves and our children. I mean, I grew up with the Temptations, Gladys Knight, Stevie Wonder, but if I grew up with some of the stuff they're putting out today, that would affect the way I think about our men and women today.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got songs that telling people it's okay to kill black people, that's what you got out there.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Well, that's why we say it's time for attitude adjustment with black women. We say we're talking about black women because they're the one who are in charge of rearing most of these children. So how could I not talk about strengthening and building the black woman?
Right.
Exactly. I'm glad you focused on that. Instead of trying to deal with both at the same time, focus on the women, and then next time around we'll deal with the men. That's the way to do it.
Exactly. Well, Charles, it's always good to hear from you. Go ahead.
You know, I think there's a generational problem, too, what the brother just brought up. You see, you know, when he talked about the Temptations, we all part of that generation. So we have, I mean, and there's some, you know, I mean, there's some bad apples in our generation as well. But knowing the way we were raised, you know, we're raised to respect, you know, the woman. She's a lady, and, you know, open the door for her, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the younger generation don't have those values. And when you add the hip hop culture and the music and the lyrics, then you get this, beat, bitch here, this kind of thing, and the degrading of women versus the men. So that is a problem, that is becoming systemic. And I think what we need is more dialogue between our old black men and our young black men in dealing with how do we deal with black women. I think that would be great, right.
Well, Dean, and you hit a great point. When young black men, not only we talking about the music and how that impact how they treat women, but when they listen to their mom calling their sisterhood this bitch and this hoe.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
right.
How do you think that's impacting that young man? I've heard women leave church and say, well, when church is over, I go straight and get in my car because I'm not going to fool with those. Okay? Now, who your son think you're talking about? He don't think you're talking about the white woman because all the women that he sees in your life are black women.
Yeah.
So now you're instilling in him at an early age that black women ain't. Y'all know what you say.
Yeah. Yep.
Think about it. That's why we're talking about the women. Examine yourself. Examine your conversation.
Yep. Because you're planting that seed to grow it into a tree, and then what kind of fruit is it going to bear? Then it's somebody else's fault.
Right.
But Carl's on the line, and he's been holding for a while.
Okay, Jamal, he's giving us a little extra time, so go ahead, Carl.
Is that Carl?
Carl?
323-750.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was into the show, but anyhow, what Dean was saying is what I was going to bring up earlier, how the attitude adjustment from the workforce to home plays a role, or just in general. And a friend of mine years ago ran into a situation like that. His girlfriend at the time was a assistant.
Speak up, Carl.
Principal. His girlfriend at the time was a assistant school principal, and so he noticed how when she come home, she carried that same attitude. So then he had to sit down, and they had a nice discussion. He said, at school, you are Principal Jones. At home, you are Kim. And he was firm with it, and he stood his ground. And afterwards, there is a happy ending to it. They end up getting married. And what my point is, part of the attitude adjustment is going to come from guys not tolerating it.
Okay, good point.
And if she really cares about him, then she would make that adjustment. But if she don't care about him, then you have to walk.
Okay. Y'all
Okay.
heard. Y'all heard it straight from Tim.
I did on that.
Well, y'all heard it, and a lot of men don't like to be confrontation with women because they know what that's like because they've seen their mother with that attitude of confrontation, and they don't want any parts of it. Women, I know they just blowing up and smoking, but you guys need to take what I'm saying to heart and try to change situations so it'll be better for your daughter and be better for your son. Keith Reed was on the board. I think this is important.
Okay, we have two messages. We got one coming from Dr. J. He says, I'm single and I date black women exclusively, but until recently, none of them were from the United States.
Wow.
The black women from Africa, the Caribbean, and even from England are easier to deal with
than sisters from the USA.
And sisters from the USA. And then the next message we have says, can we expect any significant changes from black women in white-dominated culture? And that's coming from Ingrid from Canada.
Wow.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yes, we can, because when we look at ourselves and we see that we can no longer ascribe to the dominant cultural attitude because we are the one at the bottom of the bottom. It's our sons that's being locked up. It's our children that's in foster home. Yes, we do expect a significant change. Otherwise, we expect to be out of here. We're already at the bottom of the bottom.
Right.
And yes, we expect change, but the changes significantly will be brought about through conversation, through dialogues like what we're having today. I read to you where someone sent me an email and said, don't send me this trash. Right. I'm a black woman. This is not my reality. So it's not your reality, but you have a lot of sisters and you know that this is their reality. She said, this is very insulting. In fact, remove me from your email list. You might want to think that over about whether you want to be removed from my email list, because I always bring shows that can empower black folks. And if we ever need an overhaul, it's right now. You may be okay. I'm okay. But when people around me, when my sisters, when my cousins, when my church friends, from the people that I know are not okay, then that makes it not okay for me, because my grandchildren, will be marrying some of those children who coming from these other women's houses who don't think like I do and who have not empowered them. Let's see ourselves as a nation, not just one person, as a nation.
Can I ask a question, Dr. Rosie?
Yes.
What I don't get is that black women in general complain about men and the type of men that they're getting, but the thing is they never think about preparing their sons to be a good black man or a good husband for another woman's daughter.
That's interesting, Keith. I always say to women, are you preparing your son to be, is this your son, is he the kind of man that you would want your daughter, if you had one, to hook up with? And some of them had to admit no when they think about it. That's why we got to keep motivated and bringing these issues up, so women would start thinking, what type of man am I producing here in my household? I think they never think about it. But they want a man to treat their daughter right. They want this.
Exactly.
They know what they want for their daughters. Watch this, where I'm going. They know exactly what they want for their daughters, but they never think about what other woman is getting when they get their son. These are things I think we need to think about, and people haven't thought about it, haven't talked about it.
I think Keith brought up a very good point. My final comment is that how the father raising the son to respect women and how to, in other words, how to become a young man with good values and respect for women, you say, and like you would treat your daughter. When I grew up, you see, my father came to his relationship and his upbringing. He never knew how to be a father, and so I had,
thankful for my mother. My mother really raised me like most of us are. And she taught me the values of love and respect for women, you know. And I think that's what's wrong with maybe a lot of our black men, too, is that the fathers were raised, you know, the fathers, you know, come from backgrounds, you know, whether they dealt with drugs, whether they dealt with, you know, being a womanizer, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of the black men grew up with those kind of attitudes. So that's something that we've overcome. But secondly, I want to really say is what you brought out too, dialogue, communicating. My wife now, we had a 16-month courtship, and I never communicated and had such a dialogue with with a woman as I did, say, with my lady that became my wife. And my other wives, we just assumed, okay, we're going to have children, we're going to build a family, we're going to buy a home. You know what I mean? We just made those assumptions. We never really communicate with each other. And I think it's very, very important in developing a wholesome relationship that lead into marriage. It's dialogue and communicating and respecting and loving one another.
Right. We have a call from 626.
Hi, yes, the other Carl. How you doing, Brother Keith and Dr. Rosie?
Wonderful.
Wonderful topic, and you guys are spot on as usual. I'm gonna approach this from two different angles. The first angle, I'm gonna approach it from, of course, women, or I should say, talking, you know, what I observe about black women. One thing, and Dr. Rosie, when I heard you, the sister talking about removing herself from lists, that's actually a cause of a growing, unfortunate problem coming out of black women in general. And here's what I mean. Ego. A lot of that has to do, ego is the anchor that keeps the black race down. I'm not saying that ego, in general, I'm saying that selfish ego sometimes it could be that anchor that keeps us away. Here's what I mean. In New York, black women have a negative birth rate because ego is saying you have to be successful, professional, you know, and these are just reports that I got. So therefore, they're not going out and doing what women do, have families, you know, be nurtured, have, you know, that love mate. You know, I mean, I'm not saying all, but I'm saying that that's a growing, reality that's happening. Another thing is, what I noticed with a lot of sisters with ego is also it's the thing that keeps them lonely. It's the thing that actually hurts their economic interest. Here's what I mean. You're in a position right now where other cultures are starting to get the jobs. They're getting the opportunities, the loans, all these immigrants, you name it, folks from around the world, because the world is growing up and becoming more informed and more, you know, it's a smaller share of the pie. So what happens is now you have this misogyny coming out of black males. You have the aspect of the world looking at the black woman as, oh, she's got a bad attitude. So those that are in control of revenue, jobs, and things are looking at that's a liability for my economic interest. Thus, one, she would not be a good family mate, and things may happen. That's volatility I have to put up with, health care, daycare, whatever. Next, I can't have my economic interest hurt in case she wants to sue me or anything of that nature. So it's hitting them. The ego and that selfishness, which I say that I hate to say it, but women hold it, the title in that, is going to destroy them. Now, let me come from the black male standpoint. Because of the fact that we have not become men. And what I mean by to become men is women love the guy that's holding down the block. I heard a brother earlier talk about how, you know, they're always dating, you know, they date the bad boy kind of thing. I mean, that's what I got from him. Well, the thing is because that's what they see as men, because we as black males in general have not held the title of men. Everything we get in life, we depend on other males to give it to us, whether it's white, Asian, or whoever else. Everything from our medical care to our water. Women look at that like a daughter looks at her dad. Like they say, the daughters always marry someone that's like their dad. It's no wonder that they look at others, whether it's, you know, the scandal in the empire or, you know, the interracial nonsense or whether it's the thugs on the street. They're looking for that thing that's a protector. Now, if brothers stood up, took their communities in their hands, took their destiny in their hands, took their financial aspect as well as their protection of their communities in their hands, women would look up to them, even their wives, almost as if they're looking up to the dad, because they know that's my aspect of manhood and I'm going to protect it. Thus, there's no reason for selfishness. There's no reason for ego, because I'm going to protect that family because that's what that family represents. And that's what the women look at men. But that's what I'm just, you know, throwing that out as my observation from both sides.
Well, that's what the man problem is the chicken and egg problem, Carl. Because where do men come from? They come from boys. And where do we train these warriors at? And that's
I'm gonna tell you something.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Where do they come from, and how do we break this cycle? Because we're in a phase lock loop.
I'm gonna tell you how.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Carl. No, go ahead. Finish. Carl.
Yeah. As the African saying, the woman is the first teacher, but the man is the one that basically the man teaches the student to become the teacher. Here's what I mean. My mother was single. She said, you guys would have been much better off had you been raised by your father. The woman is the first teacher, but the man is what makes that individual the teacher, the independence, the thing of being able to, control destiny, control society. Both a woman and man, the male of that aspect teaches that individual how to be the independence, how to go ahead and strive and succeed as themselves. The mother is that nurturing aspect that gives them that security of knowing it'll all be all right. Like you cut your finger and, you get a little kiss and your mom says it's okay.
Yes.
That's that security measure. Now, when you said chicken and egg, that's how to solve that chicken and egg. The reason I say that is because when we stand up as males and become men, okay, and I'm not talking about just individual. A man protects, that's why I said the society or community. The men protect that. If we see young boys out there, it's us to go ahead and put them through rites of passage. I'm not going to use the term mentor because that's a Greek thing. For us or be a jekne, and to take them and create men out of them to be able to say, look, this is how you act. This is how you behave. This is how you do it. Because it's us to create teachers out of those young men. When we start to do that, then we start to break that cycle.
Wow. And do you ever thought about the fact that a lot of men are very weak when it comes to women, is really putting them in that place and setting boundaries, because they were reared by their mothers, and their mothers basically kind of dominated them, and they love their mother so much. And the woman that they meet is a reflection of their mother, whether that's good or bad. So they're spending all that time trying not to say something that's going to hurt her feeling, trying to walk on shells. So this has a great dynamic when it comes to how our young black men are relating to other women. So women, that's why I say we need an attitude adjustment, because we are the one that can turn this thing around overnight.
Exactly. Because women are the factory. Women are the ones that you can make a decision on whether you want to raise that child or have that father raise that child. Because it's an easy thing. Because when my son was 13, he wanted to live with his father. But guess who stopped that? It was his mother.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is, it was his mother, and that's the whole thing. And in this society, Carl, this has become a matriarchal society. Men no longer have that power to do that anymore. Not even white men have that power to do that anymore.
And I don't know what make women think they're so much better off with rearing the children. And a lot of it have to do with, you hear them say, well, I'm not going to have him to have another woman around my child.
Exactly.
But you can have another man. Women are out of control. I mean, this is an equal society. You're not better than the man. Come on. You need to rethink that. When you have a child wanting to live with his dad, and if dad wants a child, and you're going to stand there and say, no, he's not going to be a good father, when that's, sometimes it's a fact, and it's a fact sometimes that a woman should not have her children. He's better off with the man. We need to look out for the children and not let our emotion get involved by how we feel about each other and wanting each other to not make it because we're not with them. We have to stop that.
Because I've seen that black men and women have become competitors rather than co-workers, been partners. Yeah, and it's getting worse. It's actually getting worse. I think the white system is feeding on that.
And the child should not have to take sides.
Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
I'm going to leave you guys with this. Brother Keith, you said it best. You said the society doesn't allow us. But if we're men, we're the ones that change the society. For us to get back, as you said, that old African culture, I shouldn't say old because I'm just paraphrasing you, to get outside of this European construct, it's up to us as males to become men and change that so that way we're not saying, well, in this society. Those words will become moot. But anyways, thank you guys so much, and I'm going to definitely listen to the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the brother, I just want to say a final comment. I think he took the words out of my mouth. he's coming from an Afrocentric perspective, which we need, and because we've been raised in a Eurocentric, white male errant supremacist, you see, society. So that's where I think we've had so many problems with our relationships and everything because we've looked to these white models and everything, you see. And what the brother was bringing out is going back and look at from an Afrocentric perspective of what our great culture and ancestry really, how we ruled the world and had such a great civilization for so many thousands of years. But we've lost all that, and it's just and many of our people are still lost. They're still enslaved psychologically about things, So
we're glad to
I thought you brought out a lot of good points there. Yeah,
we're glad to start arranging marriages again.
I'm telling you, this show is going to air again tonight at 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. All the people that didn't get a chance to listen, go to innerlightradio@yahoo.com. And I hope I haven't lost all my female fans because not one have called today. So just in case I did, me and you guys better hang with me. You all better spread the word and keep my show going because these women are mad as heck. Not a one have called.
Yeah, well, like he said, we'll do one on our black men. Okay.
The women will call in for that one.
Yeah, maybe I will get redeemed after that. But I want black women to know that I can't help but to love you. I'm a black woman myself. I'm an elder. That's why I come to you the way I do because I want to see. I want to see it better. Oh, that's Inner Light Radio. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, you all. That to listen tonight, go to innerlightradio.com. I gave you the email address. 7:30 tonight, the show will re-air. innerlightradio.com. So send your friends. I think this is a very important show. Dean, thank you for hanging with us. Keith, if it wasn't for you, it would be no me. And I tell you all, we'll be back next week.
Amen.
We're going to have a great show for you next week. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you, Keith and Dr. Rose. Yeah.